my name is Cait. I teach for Tula, and I'm going to be guiding you through an all levels flow class today. It's going to be about 60 minutes long. If you know that you're somebody who needs props, I invite you to grab blocks, books, anything that you may need, and we'll go ahead and get started. So to get started, we'll actually come to lay on our backs first. So find a comfortable position on your back. You can be in Shavasana, basically legs extended long, palms facing towards the ceiling, or you can have your knees bent, knocking in towards each other, feet about a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We'll begin with palms facing towards the ceiling. Beginning to connect to the breath. Letting the lower back be heavy, letting the spine be heavy, letting the back of the head be heavy. Just begin to follow the natural breath, your natural breath, in through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, to the chest, to the belly, and then back out the way that it came. Just noticing the quality of the breath. Noticing the length of the inhales, the length of the exhales. We're not manipulating or changing the breath at all. We're just noticing where it is today in these moments. Couple more breaths here. Just really settling into the space, into the four corners of your mat. Take a really deep inhale, filling the chest, the belly, all the way with air. Exhale out of the mouth, let it all go. 2 more times, deep inhale. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. 1 more deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. We're going to go ahead and bring the knees in towards the chest, grabbing a hold of the tops of the knees or the backs of the thighs. And we're going to begin making small circles here, starting really small. Knees can be together, moving together. Slowly make your circles bigger. Come back through center, then we'll make circles the opposite direction. So go ahead and make small circles the opposite way. Starting small, eventually slowly moving bigger. Come back through center. We're gonna extend the heels towards the ceiling, legs straighten. We're going to have the toes pointing towards the ceiling first, and your arms can sort of zip into your rib cage. Palms can be on the ground, and if you find that you need a little bit more support underneath your seat, you can sort of wiggle your hands underneath there if it helps you feel a little bit more supported. We're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths, just noticing the sensations traveling down the legs as the blood flows from the toes to the ankles, to the knees, to the thighs. Spine is nice and flat and neutral on the mat. Couple more breaths here. All right, begin to start moving your toes towards your body. So we're flexing the ankles here. We're moving the toes towards you and then pushing them back towards the ceiling. We're just going to do this a couple of times, warming up the ankles and noticing any sensations traveling down your legs. Again, this time you may feel the muscles in your calf begin to wake up, and you may even feel it all the way down to your hip. You can start adding toe movements, maybe scrunching the toes a little bit. All right, let's bring the knees back in towards the chest. Pausing for just a moment here. We're going to begin to warm up the core a little bit. So extend your heels towards the ceiling again. Arms come down to your ribcage, down to the ground, palms onto the ground. And again, you can wiggle your hands underneath your seat if you know that you need that added support. We're going to start slowly lowering the right leg down towards the ground, keeping the leg active until the heel is a couple of inches above the ground. Activating strongly through the core here. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly bring the right leg back up to meet the left. And then lower the left down to the ground. Left leg is active. Couple of inches above the ground, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it back up, feet to meet, knees back into chest. We're going to move through that a little bit more quickly. I invite you to find your own pace if mine doesn't suit you, but we're going to extend heels to the ceiling, arms down to the ground, and we're going to slowly start to lower the right leg. Lift back up, left leg lowers, back up, and we're just going to move through this, maybe even connecting a breath to a movement. So maybe inhaling as you lower, exhaling as you lift, or vice versa. We're staying really strong through the core here. Belly button moves in towards the spine. Lower back firmly presses into the ground. Move through this a couple more times. Lower, then lift. All right, last one. We're going to meet back at the top, knees in towards chest. And then this time we're going to round the spine, bringing the forehead closer to the knees, making yourself into a tiny little ball. And then we're going to make our way to our seat. So you may want to rock back and forth, or you may want to move to one side, roll over and push yourself up. So one last little bit of core work before we move into a tabletop. We're going to move into a boat pose. So come to the toes, bend your knees, knees come in towards each other, knees come in towards your chest. You can stay on your toes here, hands on the backs of your thighs, or you can lift your toes off the ground, squeezing an imaginary block between your legs, and your hands, if it feels okay, can come to the sides. We're opening really, really nicely through the chest, letting the inhale create some space in your chest, opening your shoulders. We're just gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down to the ground. Give yourself a break. And we will try that one more time for the count of 10. So lifting the toes off the ground, maybe releasing your hands. Add a challenge is to try to straighten your legs. We're holding here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. And we're going to make our way to a tabletop. All right, so wrists are stacked underneath shoulders, knees are stacked underneath hips. Take a look at your toes to make sure that they're in line with your knees rather than pigeon-toeing in towards each other. And here in the tabletop, we're finding a neutral spine. So crown of the head is gently pulling away from the tailbone, and we're finding length all up and down the spine. Pressing firmly into the ground like your hands, like your palms are suction cups. All right. On your inhale, lift your gaze, drop your belly. Pull the chest forward, cow. Exhale, rounding the spine, pressing the ground away from you. Gaze comes down to the ground. Cat. We're going to move through this a couple of times. Pulling the chest forward on the cows, rounding the spine on the cats. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And we're going to push back to a child's pose. So your seat comes towards your heels. You may be able to sit on your calves or your heels. Your knees can be wide or narrow, totally up to you this morning, or today, sorry. And the forehead can rest on the mat. And just take a moment to notice where the breath is going. Notice it expand the back of the ribs, maybe expanding the belly. Couple more breaths. Slither forward to your tabletop. And we're going to flip the left palm to be facing the body. The left top of the hand comes to the mat. And we're just going to massage the wrist and the top of the hand here. Noticing any crinkling or crackling. Maybe able to make a fist with your hand, just sort of waking up the hands. We're going to flip the left palm back. Take a moment to notice the difference between the hands. And then when you're ready, we're going to flip the right palm. Right top of the hand comes to the mat. Palm is facing you. And again, you can massage that wrist, the top of the hand area. Maybe make fists. Flip the palm, it comes back down to the ground, and we're going to actually push back and we're going to sit on our heels for just a moment. Excuse me. And we're going to warm up the shoulders and wrists a little bit more. So extend your arms out in front of you. We're going to cross the right hand over the left, or the right arm over the left. Flip the palms so that they're facing each other. Thumbs are now towards the ground, and we're going to clasp the hands, pressing the palms together. And then we're going to bring the hands back towards the body, so bending the elbows. Moving through this a couple of times. Move slowly. And just notice where you feel it. It might be in your shoulders, it might be in your triceps or biceps, or you may just feel it in your wrists. A couple more times. All right, release. Shake it out for a moment. All right, and then we're gonna cross the left arm over the right. And we're gonna flip the palms, thumbs come down to the ground. We're gonna clasp hands, but try to clasp the weird way. So one way is gonna feel normal, one way is gonna feel weird. Choose the weird way. And then we're gonna move the hands, bending the elbows, bring them back towards the body. Yeah. Doing this a couple of times. All right, release. We're gonna shake it out. Make some wrist circles, make a fist. Circles with your wrists. And then we're gonna come back to tabletop. So finding your balance here on all fours. Palms are suction cupped into the ground again. We're gonna tuck the toes. Lift the knees, and we're gonna hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press back to downward facing dog. You can walk out your feet or your hands if you need to. Find your distance here. So your perfect down dog distance is gonna be when you slither forward to a high plank, and then press back to your down dog. You can pedal out your feet here, you can wag your tail, you can shake your head, yes, no. Being mindful to keep your palms really suction cupped to the ground. And as always, you can have a bend in your knees here if it's tight on your hamstrings or too much on your lower back. All right, we're gonna slowly walk the hands back towards the body. So one hand at a time, walking them towards the feet. And then coming into your first forward fold, you can have a bend in your knees here, bringing your torso towards your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. And just let yourself hang here and sway. Couple more breaths, finding a little bit more length with each sway, with each exhale. Letting the top half of your body be heavy. Release your elbows and inhale, sweep arms all the way up, coming to stand tall, stretching fingertips towards the ceiling, and then exhale, hands come down to the sides. We'll start here at the back of the mat, Surya Namaskara A, or Sun Salutation A. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale to your flat back, hands come to shins. Exhale, let's walk the hands out to the high plank. Hold for the inhale. Exhale, drop to the knees, move into a modified chaturanga. Elbows stay in towards ribs. Yogi push up. Push through up dog. Tops of the feet come to the ground, knees lift off the mat, chest pulls forward. Exhale, down dog. We're gonna hold here in a down dog. Instead of pedaling the feet, let's find a couple moments of stillness here. Belly button towards spine. Elbows rotate in towards each other. Head hangs heavy. 2 more breaths. One more breath. Look between the hands, walk to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. This time grab a hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. Again, having a bend in your knee if you need. We're going to use the leverage of pulling the big toe and pressing the big toe into the fingers to help bring the crown of the head closer to the ground or find more length in the spine. So each inhale, try to find a little bit more length. Exhale, try to find a deeper fold. We're going to hold here for 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Release the toes and inhale, sweep arms up, coming to stand tall. Fingertips to ceiling, exhale, hands come down to the sides. All right, we're gonna run through a sun salutation B. We're gonna bend the knees, sink the hips back. Feet should be about hip distance apart. We're gonna bring the weight more towards the back of the heels, a little bit less on the toes. Maybe the toes even lift off the ground. We're gonna sweep arms up, finding chair pose. So it's like you're sitting on an imaginary chair behind you. Release your toes down to the ground if they're up. 1 more deep breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Take another deep inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to high plank. Option to drop to your knees for your chaturanga. Then up dog, knees lift. Down dog. We are going to lift the right leg high to the sky. And then step it through your hands. You can wiggle your foot forward if you need. We want to find the knee on top of the ankle. And then we're going to drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Top of the left foot comes to the mat. Find your stability here and sweep arms up, low lunge. You can lunge a little bit more forward if it feels okay. Hips are square to the top of the mat. We're going to bring arms behind, clasping the hands. Palms activate towards each other. Opening strongly through the chest. Begin to straighten your front leg. Keeping your hips square, you may notice that they try to move one way or the other. Deep inhale. Exhale, fold over your front leg. Your right foot may be on the ground, the sole of your foot may be on the ground, or it may be lifted. And if you need to keep a bend in that front knee, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be completely straight. Release the hands, bringing the hands down to the ground. Take a deep inhale, gaze forward, flat back. Exhale, fold forward with the support of the ground to deepen the stretch. Begin to walk your hands forward. We're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Prepping for our high lunge. Find your stability here. And we're going to sweep arms up, activating strongly through both legs. Fingertips sweep towards the ceiling. Gaze can be in front of you or towards the ceiling, whichever feels right for you. Couple more breaths here. Clasp hands behind you. Inhale as you find some more space in your chest. Begin to straighten that front leg, and as you exhale, fold forward. If you fall, it's okay. Release the hands. Bring them down to the mat or to blocks or to books or whatever props you have. Inhale as you lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, now using the support of the ground in this shape. All right, frame your front foot with your hands. We're gonna step back to a high plank. Option to move through a flow. Drop to the knees or move through chaturanga. Down dog. Left leg lifts high to the sky, and we're gonna step it through the hands, wiggling it forward if you need. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Top of the right foot comes down to the ground. When you're ready, sweep arms up, low lunge. Gaze can be in front of you or to the ceiling. There may be a tendency here to sort of find a back bend here, but bring your belly button in towards your spine to support your lower back. Clasp hands behind you. Open through the chest, straighten that front leg, hips shift back. As you exhale, fold forward over your straight front leg. Again, option to have a bend in your knee if you need here. It's totally fine. Couple more breaths here. Release the hands, bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale, gaze forward, flat back. Exhale, fold forward using the ground as support as you fold. Walk your hands towards the front of the mat to frame your foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. We're gonna prepare for high lunge again. So you can pretend that you're sort of squeezing. You can activate your thighs towards each other by like squeezing them together. Shoot some energy out through your back heel, and once you find your stability and balance, you can sweep arms up, high lunge. Gaze can be in front of you or towards the ceiling, belly button and towards spine gently to help protect the lower back. Couple more breaths. If you're wiggling and wobbling, that's totally fine. These are challenging poses. Bring your hands behind you, clasp your hands. Open through the chest, straighten that front leg. As you exhale, fold forward. Pyramid pose. Keeping that back heel lifted. You may notice that your left hip wants to move forward. If it does, gently try to pull it back. Pull your right hip forward. A couple more breaths. Release your hands to the ground or to your props. Inhale as you gaze forward, flat back. Exhale, fold over your pyramid. Forehead can drop heavy towards your shins or your knees. Walk your hands to frame that front foot. Step back to your high plank. Option to move through a flow or move straight to down dog. You can move through chaturanga, up dog, down dog. And then we're gonna drop to the knees, wide-legged child's pose. So knees move to about mat width distance apart. Big toes can touch behind you. Push your hips back, let your chest be heavy towards the ground. And let your forehead be heavy towards the ground. Deep, nourishing breaths here. Letting each inhale create space, letting each exhale relax and let the body rest. We're going to slowly walk the hands to the right side of the mat, both hands. So we're finding a side bend on the left side. Your left hand can stack on top of your right hand if you want the additional stretch. Try to keep your forehead towards the ground and maybe even look underneath your left armpit. Now, as you're in this shape, I invite you to breathe into the left side body. Letting the ribs expand, letting the whole side body expand. Walk your hands back to center. Pause for a moment, letting the spine reset. And then we're going to walk the hands to the left side of the mat. Right hand can stack on top of the left. And again, try to keep your forehead down towards the ground in between your arms, and maybe even look underneath your right armpit. And then I invite you to send your breath to the right side body. Big dramatic breaths, big expansion. Couple more breaths. All right, we're going to walk the hands back towards center. We're going to slither forward to a tabletop. Knees come back underneath your hips. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And then slowly walk your hands to the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Begin bending your knees, sinking your hips, your seat back. We're going to find chair pose again. So sweep arms up, knees bent, chair pose. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. We're going to inhale, straighten the legs, exhale, hands down to the sides. All right, let's add on to that. Bend the knees, finding chair pose again, sweep arms up, inhale, exhale, fold forward. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to your high plank. Option to move through a flow, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. We're going to step the right leg through, keeping the back heel lifted, keeping the back knee lifted, preparing for high lunge. When you're ready, sweep arms up. I want you to bring your attention to your right foot and how the weight is distributed on the foot. Try to keep equal pressure on all 3 corners of the sole and keep your arch active. Hands come behind you, clasping behind. Inhale, opening through the chest. Exhale, straightening that front leg, folding forward. Back heel stays lifted. Release the hands. Down to the ground, finding your pyramid again. Inhale, pull, find some length in your spine, gaze forward. Exhale, fold over your pyramid again. And then we are going to move into a one-legged balance. We're going to move into standing splits. So your hands can be planted on the ground or onto the props. We're going to slowly bring the weight forward into the right leg, maybe lifting the left foot off the ground, and then maybe bringing the left heel in alignment with the hips. We're trying to bring the crown of the head towards the ground, the forehead towards the shins. And then you have the option here to grab a hold of your ankle with one or both hands. You can keep trying to move your heel upwards beyond your hip line. And then slowly release, bringing the left foot back down to the ground. Hands frame the foot, step back to high plank. Option to flow. Chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Left leg lifts high to the sky, stepping it through the hands. Finding your stability here before moving and sweeping arms up. When you're ready, sweep arms up, high lunge. Again, drawing your attention to your feet, to your arch, to the activity on the sole of your foot, and seeing if you can even it out to help find more balance. A couple more breaths. Hands clasped behind, opening through the chest. Letting the shoulders roll open, straighten that front leg. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Staying connected with your breath here. Trying to even out your breath if it becomes a little lopsided. Release your hands down to the ground. We're going to move into our standing split on the opposite side. So slowly begin to shift the weight to the left foot. Maybe eventually lifting the right leg off the ground. First starting with bringing the heel in alignment with the hips. Crown of the head towards the ground, forehead towards the shins. And then if it feels okay, you can keep lifting your heel. Trying to keep the hips square to the ground now. So you don't want to have your right hip sort of piking open. Try to keep them square. And again, you can grab a hold of the ankle with one or both hands. Slowly start to lower your right leg back down to the ground. Hands frame your foot, step back to high plank. Move through a chaturanga. Up dog, down dog. Holding here in our down dog for 3 deep breaths. Two more breaths. One more breath. Look between your hands. We're going to step to the top of the mat. Walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, hands come to shins, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep arms up. Coming back into a chair pose, bending the knees, sinking the hips back. Holding here. Try to find a little bit deeper of a bend in the knees, sinking the seat even lower down to the ground. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, hands come down to the sides. All right, we're gonna step the left foot back or the right foot back, whichever way you're facing me, but we wanna have the feet parallel to each other. We're gonna move into a straddle. So feet are a couple feet apart from each other. Feet are parallel to each other and to the sides of the mat. And again, we're focusing on the pressure points of the feet here. We want to even out so that it's equal on the 4 corners of the feet. And just notice how it changes the shape. So without activating it equally on the soles of the feet, you may find that your weight is sort of spilling to the outside, to the knife's edge. Try to reel it back in, activate through the arches. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, find a nice and tall spine, belly button towards spine, and as you exhale, fold forward, keeping your neutral spine. Finding that halfway mark. Hold for the inhale. Exhale, fold all the way forward, bringing the hands down to the ground. Crown of the head pulls towards the ground. Chest, heart melts towards the ground. All right, we're going to plant the right hand underneath the heart space. So if you need to bring a block underneath there, this is a good time to do that as well. And we're going to lift the left fingertips towards the sky, so finding a twist. Opening through the thoracic spine, twisting open, letting the exhale twist you a little bit deeper. Two more breaths here. Slowly come back down to the ground. Left hand plants on the ground. Right hand lifts towards the ceiling, opening through the chest, letting, again, the exhale guide you into a deeper twist here. Two more breaths. Right hand comes back down to the ground. We're going to grab a hold of the big toes with the peace fingers again. Inhale, gaze forward, flat back. Exhale, fold forward, pulling through the toes and having the toes press into the fingers to see if you can fold a little bit deeper. Release your toes, inhale, flat back. Exhale, hold at the flat back. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, and we're going to make our way to our seats. Feet extended in front of you. Legs extended in front of you. Toes are pointed towards the ceiling. Press your palms into the ground, wrists are underneath your shoulders. We're going to find some length in the spine here, so gaze is forward. Imagine that there's a string pulling your head, attaching it to the ceiling. Belly button in towards spine, shoulders are open. Holding here for 5 breaths. That's 1. 2, 3, 4. Last breath, deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. You can have a bend in your knees here if you need. So we're going to try to grab a hold of the ankles, the shins, or maybe even the toes. We're going to hold here for 3 more breaths. With each inhale, I invite you to try to find some length in your spine. With each exhale, maybe fold a little bit deeper. 1 more breath. Release. We're going to walk the hands back towards your torso. And then we're going to find a half butterfly shape. So we're going to bend. We'll start with bending the right knee. Bringing the right foot in towards the thigh. Then we're going to rotate the torso so that it's more in line with your leg, your left leg. We're going to slowly walk the hands down the side of the leg. Finding your fold again. If you can grab a hold of your foot or your toes, that's great. If not, grab a hold of what you can. Walk your hands to the center, to the space between your left foot and your right knee. Inhale, gaze forward, pull your chest forward. Exhale, fold forward over the space, the empty space. Walk your hands back towards your torso, and we're going to bring the left hand to the right knee. Right hand plants behind you, or fingertips come to the ground behind you. Take a deep inhale, finding some length in your spine. Exhale, find your twist. Gaze can move beyond your right shoulder. Holding here for 3 more breaths. Maybe twisting a little bit deeper. 1 more breath. Come back through center. Extend your right leg. We're going to bend your left knee. Left foot comes into right thigh. We're going to shift again the torso so that it's more square with the right leg. And we're going to slowly start walking the hands down the right leg, grabbing a hold of whatever you can, whether it's the calf, the ankle, the toe, the sole of the foot. Just scan your body, noticing where you feel the stretch, and see if you can send your breath there. Walk your hands to the center, to the space between your right heel and your left knee, that big empty space. Inhale, pull your chest forward, finding length in the spine. Then exhale, folding over that space. Again, noticing where the stretch is, send your breath there. You're going to walk your hands back, coming to a neutral spine. Right hand comes to the left thigh or left knee. Left fingertips come behind you, or maybe the hand plants on the ground. Inhale, finding length in the spine, and as you exhale, twist to the left. Maybe the gaze moves to the left side, to the left shoulder, to the space behind you. One more breath here. Come back through center. We're going to bring the right foot in to meet the left. Soles of the feet come together, finding butterfly. Knees hang heavy to the ground. If you find that it's not comfortable on your knees, you can always stick pillows or blocks or anything underneath them to help support them. Take a deep inhale, find that length in the spine. Again, crown of the head pulls towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hinging at the hips, folding forward. And once you find that you can't hinge anymore, you can round your spine, letting the forehead hang heavy towards the feet. Sending the breath to the lower back, to the hips. Just being curious about where the breath is going, what happens when you send it somewhere. Begin to walk your hands back, and then we're going to make our way to our backs. We will start by, let's actually bring the knees in towards the chest for a moment. It's taking a moment to massage your lower back. Release the forward folds. And then we're gonna bring the soles of the feet back down to the ground, mat width distance apart. And we're gonna drop the right knee in towards the middle line, let the left knee drape to the left. Windshield wipering. So then we're gonna switch, left knee moves in towards the middle line, right knee flays out. And just move through this a couple of times, sort of moving one knee at a time or maybe both knees at a time, really stretching through your belly and through your hips. All right, let's come back through center. And we're gonna bring the knees into the chest again, but we're gonna find a happy baby. So the knees move to the outside of your torso, sort of moving towards the ground or towards maybe even towards your armpits. And we're gonna grab a hold of either the ankles, hands stay on the inside of the legs here. So grabbing a hold of the ankles or maybe grabbing a hold of the big toes with your peace fingers. Lower back stays pressed into the ground. And then the knees can pull towards the ground. And you may even be able to find some dynamic tension here. So pressing the toes into the fingers or the hands, pressing the feet into the hands while pulling the feet back down. You can rock from side to side. You can straighten one leg. Straighten the other. Come back through center, release the feet all the way down to the mat. We're gonna extend the legs long. Toes pull away from you, and we're gonna reach the arms above head. Big stretch here, fingertips pull away from the toes, taking up as much space, becoming as long as you can. And then settle for a moment. We're gonna grab opposite elbows here, making a frame with our hands or with our arms. And we're gonna slowly walk the top half of the body towards the left, towards the right, sorry. So we're gonna come into like a banana shape. So we are curving the top half of the body towards the right, and then we're gonna walk the legs over towards the right as well, maybe even crossing the left leg on top of the right. And imagine yourself as like a crescent moon or a banana. That's the shape we want. Sending the breath to the left ribs. Feeling the expansion. Couple more breaths. Walk the body back to a straight line, and then we're going to switch the grip on the elbows. Walk the top half of your body to the left side, finding that half crescent shape, and then we are going to walk the legs to the left side as well, maybe stacking the right leg on top of the left, finding your banana shape. Sending the breath to the right side body, to the right ribs, to the right hip. Back to center, release your elbows, stretch your fingertips behind you one last time, big of a stretch as you can do. Take a deep inhale, exhale, let it go, and then I invite you to find your shape for Shavasana. So traditionally, it is your legs extended, your arms extended, corpse pose. Back of the head's heavy. If you find that the shape does not feel good for you, you can bend your knees, knock them in towards each other. It will help alleviate stress on the lower back. You may be able to bring like a pillow underneath your knees or something to help with the lower back pressure there as well. You also have the option to move into child's pose if that's a shape that better suits you, or even have butterfly legs. But once you find your shape of Shavasana, begin scanning your body, searching for any tension that's tucked away, that's hidden, anything that you can let go of. Relaxing in your toes, the tops of your feet, your ankles, letting go of tension in your shins and your calves and your knees, your thighs, your hips. Let go of tension in your belly and your chest. Relax your fingers, your palms, your wrists, your forearms, your elbows. Let go of tension in your biceps, your shoulders. Relax your neck, your jaw, your lips. Let go of tension in your nose, the space between your eyebrows, the space behind your eyelids. Relax your forehead. Let the back of your head be heavy on the mat. Let your bones be heavy. And let yourself be supported by the mat and by the earth. We'll be here for a couple of minutes. Small movements back into your body. You're wiggling your fingers, your toes, moving your head from side to side. Whenever you're ready, you can move to either side, finding a fetal position. Maybe using your bicep as a pillow. Bring your hands, prop yourself up. Come back to a comfortable seat. Keeping your eyes closed if you can. And when you're back at your seat, bring your hands to heart center. Palms touch. And see if you can find your heartbeat through your chest, bringing your thumbs to your chest. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day.